important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji. Okay, there seems to be somewhat of a delay. He should be joining us shortly. So, we'll just give him a minute. He should be in London today. He may be experiencing some technical difficulties. He's there to spread the message about satsang and the wonderful benefits that it has. And everyone there is certainly looking forward to it, and glad that everyone could be here today to help participate and this wonderful mission that he's involved in today.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So we won't get the Zoom screen here? No? You can maybe put that share so people can see, maybe. Bus yहीं रख लो। Yeah. All right. Okay. So I think, Eddie, you can get started.
Yes, Sanjeev, we did the intro, so we are ready for you.
Oh, we did the intro.
Yeah.
Could you just briefly get the intro again? There's some folks here.
Oh, sure. Welcome everyone to this weekend workshop. Today, we are broadcasting live from England. And the first thing I will do is give a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you direct your attention towards the screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Thank you, Eddie. So Arvind Bhai said, come over here. Okay.
Thank you, Eddie, and happy Saturday, everybody. To the Satsang family, we are fortunate once again to have the presence of Sri Sanjeev ji, who brings Guru Maharaj's Satsang to us in the form of light, love, and true peace. Satsang is a process where you unite with Sat, which is essentially the pure truth, which is the presence of that in energy which comes to us through satsang. So Puja Sanjeev Bhaiya tries to bring that transcendental energy through the process of meditation, which brings peace in our minds and hearts in today's busy and sometimes difficult world. It allows us to be at one with that blissful energy. So without further ado, Sri Sanjeev ji will speak to you and tell you more about it, and we will practice satsang after that. Thank you again, and happy Saturday.
So I'll get started. Can you ask Yuan to bring the monkey mind slide? We'll talk about that a little bit. So happy Saturday. And this English session we started during the pandemic, so it was online. These in-person, even in US, we're just kind of kick-starting it slowly. So it's every Saturday, same time, we do this online. So the idea is that, Guru Maharaj, when he met his guru, that was in the early 1900s, he basically had tried so many things to get peaceful, get his mind, quote unquote, like get to mental resilience. How do you get to mental resilience? That itself is a challenge. But then, physical resilience. So everybody wants to be physically well, but physical resilience depends on mental resilience. So there are lots and lots of, I was thinking about this, like if you think about medical care, if you think about what we eat, if we think about how well we can keep ourselves, there is so much research, there's so much work, there are trillions of dollars spent on that. But then all that depends on mental resilience. How much do we spend on that? How much thought we have put, actually, and because my youngest was dealing with some, you know, issues, that I found that there is a lot lesser focus on mental resilience. Do we learn mental resilience in school? Right? And then the question comes, there is something more. And that I would call spiritual resilience. So people say, like, okay, so what is soul? We understand physical well-being, we understand physical being, materialistic world and all that. And we spend a lot of time and, you know, effort on that. But then there is a thought world. There is the inner world. If we are not peaceful in the inner world, our outer world will not be peaceful. And for our overall well-being, our mental resilience as well as mental well-being is equally or more important. So Guru Maharaj said, let's focus on that. Let's start with a meditation approach where you hone your mind, focus your mind, concentrate. And all that is because, you know, there were a couple of tenets in his philosophy that peace is not outside in the world, peace is inside. So if you have to go peaceful, you have to pursue inside. So inward orientation. And for inward orientation, you have to focus inwards in an inner pursuit. So this is antrik satsang, which is inner satsang. So it's not like we don't do any physical activity like mantras or chanting or, you know, but we focus more on inward pursuit, meditation where you would go in search of peace inside. So we'll practice that. But I was thinking about, you know, what is soul or what is God? Guru Maharaj said, let's simplify that. And his idea was that transcendental energy. So energy that transcends this material world, if you focus on that, if you imbibe that, if you embody that, you will get all the capabilities that you would basically, you know, we think about gratitude, we think about love, we think about, and when I talk about love, I'm talking about selfless, unconditional love, which is different than what we typically would understand from love. So selfless, unconditional love, kindness, gratitude, and all these things that we could meditate on. So individually, if we meditate on love and kindness, we meditate on compassion, we meditate on gratitude, it will give us a higher ground. It will lift us to a higher level. But instead, Guru Maharaj said, take even a higher road, focus on imbibing, focus on embodying transcendental energy in form of light. So we focus on embodying transcendental energy in form of light. And what happens is that when you embody transcendental energy, you actually become the light, you become the energy that basically drives what drives me, right? There is this energy, the source of energy. So why am I not connected to it all the time? So is there a process? Like my phone is connected in the background all the time. Why am I not? Why can't I embody the energy in a way that it's always connected? So if I get this energy gets depleted, I have a way to replenish it. So they say, Guru Maharaj said, meditate 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. Why? Because before you start, because, what happens in today's culture? You meet someone, instead of getting uplifted, you actually get pulled down most of the time, right? There are very few people where you meet and you feel that you're connected. You feel that you have transcended the world. But believe me, there are people here who have met Guru Maharaj, or, in his lineage, other people, my uncles and Panditji Maharaj, who was his follower, who, um, traveled throughout India. Just their presence. If you sit in their presence, no words spoken, and you feel calm, quiet, and you feel the energy. So sometimes I think satsang, so this meditation is referred to as satsang. Sat is transcendental energy. Sang is to be with. So to be with this energy, if you have embodied that energy, anybody that comes in contact with you, feels that. And I have met personally those people who I remember I was in college, and on the way back, I used to visit Panditji Maharaj, one of Guru Maharaj's, followers, who became a big leader in satsang, who used to talk about this philosophy, have these sessions all throughout North India. And, so I was in college. I went to meet him in my holidays. And, so for 3 months, I had some, questions in my head. Why am I not able to do this? What's happening? Why can't I decide what's right, what's wrong? And I had so many questions. And so week after week, these things were going in my head, no peace then, right? And I went to meet him, and I sat down and I tried to remember my questions, and they were nowhere in sight. Just their presence had such an effect on you. It was like so peaceful, so quiet, so, so even when I tried, I couldn't get to that state where I had questions. It was, so one of the reasons I travel and I, uh, kind of, I don't call it teaching, I just facilitate a meditation session where whatever I have learned, I share with people. And the only motivation is that, not only it feels like it uplifted me, it satsang showed me a way that you can become, or rather, it actually showed me that people can get to a very, very uncommon state. So the leaders in satsang used to live at a higher ground, a higher, higher awareness, you could call it, higher consciousness, you can call it, such that very, very few people live that way. So if, somebody yesterday was asking me why we have so many wars going on and all this is happening, we go to work and there's so much distress and stress and all these things, what can we do? And I think the only thing in our control is that we ourselves get to that higher ground. We embody that transcendental energy, so that everybody who comes in contact with us feels that love, light, and peace. And if everybody started doing that, the world will be a different place. But it's not so. Why? There is only one reason. You can think about so many things, but I feel there is only one reason why we are not embodying this transcendental energy. Why are we not at a higher ground? The reason is our mind. So we call it the monkey mind, right? So Panditji Maharaj wrote a book, and if I translated that title, it would be Self-Realization, a Journey. And in one of the chapters talked about the monkey mind. So, actually the other one, I think this is the tips. If you, this is the solution set. The other one is actually describing the monkey mind itself. Because, yeah. So the reason why our monkey mind doesn't let us meditate and concentrate and be on a higher level. So he talks about 5 or 8 things, or several things. And one of them is like negativity is on the rise. So everywhere we go, negative energy is affecting us. So people say, like, how can I be positive in this environment where everybody is like so negative, right? The thing is that if you are imbibing this positive energy, if you are imbibing this transcendental energy, and we'll practice this shortly, if you do that, if you are grounded in that energy so strongly that it cannot be moved, then instead of getting affected by that negative energy, you will actually affect the other person with positive energy. Think about that, right? Imagine if we could do that, right? And believe me, a lot of people say, is that really possible? And I think it takes effort. So getting to a higher ground, getting to a higher consciousness state or higher awareness state, it's like climbing up. It's a vertical climb. So that vertical climb is literally an effort. So until unless we make that effort, we won't be there, right? So our monkey mind, our 5 senses are becoming, so one of our 5 senses becoming overpowering. So what happens, like when 5 senses are going outwards rather than focused inwards towards peace, so this outward focus of our senses, even one of them. So, like I'll say, if you have some really good food and you get focused there, your connection to this energy, your orientation towards it, your ability to imbibe this, your ability to embody it, that gets affected, right? So your monkey mind gets impacted in a negative way when one of your 5 senses are becoming overpowering. Our passions and ambitions are on the rise. And this is very interesting. Ambitions are good, but they also create this, churn within us, and that takes us away from the peace. So I'm not saying don't be ambitious, but what I'm saying is take some time off, that 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, disconnect. Disconnect from the information overload, disconnect from, things that are going on which are affecting your head. Calm down. And do what? Focus inwards. Connect with the peace inside, right? Otherwise, this monkey mind will be anger, lust, greed, attachments, ego. All these affect your monkey mind in a way we know, right? This particular slide, I have talked about so many slides which describe this process, describe this meditation approach, etc., etc. This slide gets more focus. This people relate to it more because everybody understands what a monkey mind is. Sumit. So anyway, so the question is, how do we tackle our monkey mind? How do we stay connected? How do we stay positive? How do we, embody this transcendental energy? So let's get to that, right? We can talk and talk and talk, but that does not give us the ability to connect with this energy, right? So practice. So let's do that now, all right? So Maharishi Patanjali, who was one of the masters of the yoga philosophy, he came up with 8 limbs of yoga. Interestingly, people know about yoga as, asanas and pranayams, which are physical exercises and breathing exercises. But then there are 4 elements of yoga philosophy which are focused on meditative aspects of yoga. So we'll talk about that because satsang, or this process that we are going to practice now, focuses on those 4 elements. Those 4 elements are, in Hindi, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So in English, I would say inward orientation, number 1. Then concentration, which is like what should be your manifestation? What do you want to imagine when you meditate? So first step is inward orientation. Second step is concentration. Third is meditation. And then the resulting higher consciousness is the 4th step. So those 4 limbs are integral to the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. And, so what you do is inward orientation and concentration. Those are the steps you start with. That leads you into deep meditation, and that deep meditation leads you to higher consciousness. So where do we begin? So inward orientation and manifestation. So sitting in a relaxed posture, still and relaxed posture. So because we want to focus inwards, we want to try to find peace within. So how do we do that? We want to manifest this transcendental energy in form of light within our heart. So let me say this again. We want to manifest transcendental energy in form of light in our heart. So to focus on that, so we want to get away from the multitude of thoughts and give up all the activity and just focus on this transcendental energy in form of light in our heart. So every time our mind goes somewhere, we lose that focus. So there are 2 things that are very, very important. 1, we want to sit in a relaxed and still posture. Because every time our body moves, your mind moves with it, and our focus gets affected. Eyes lightly closed, because sensory input affects our mind as well. So eyes lightly closed, and then we sit in a relaxed posture, relaxed and still posture. Then we think about this transcendental energy in form of light right in front of us that's entering our heart and enlightening our heart. And then from there, it's distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming completely and totally immersed in this light. So we are becoming the light. We are becoming the energy. Now, as we were talking about this monkey mind, mind will wander away. As soon as you realize that mind has wandered away somewhere else, you bring it back to this observation or this thought alone. The transcendental energy in form of light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. We are getting completely and totally immersed in this light. So we'll start with music. Music helps concentration. During that, if you find it hard to concentrate, because initially that would happen, don't go to any other breathing or any other way you would like to concentrate. Those things, if you do, you can do it before or after this practice. But right now, just focus on this is the art of doing nothing. It's just focus on observing, manifesting, imagining this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and then distributing throughout our body. And we are inside now becoming this transcendental energy. Then music fades away. We go into deep, silent meditation. And that results in higher consciousness and higher awareness. Literally effortlessly. So we'll start now. Okay. So it's as simple as it gets. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. All you do is just recharge your batteries so that uh, you know you have this energy within to go through the day, and then whatever negative energy you uh, grab through the day, do a cleansing in the evening. So individual practice and group practice, I think, in my view, night and day difference. So the group collective energy that you have here, um, you know, individual versus group, I think exponentially differently charged. Effortless upliftment happens in group sessions. And virtual versus in person, again, I think, so individual is X, there might be 100X in virtual, and then there might be 1,000X. And believe me, I think I'm understating that. I was, a while ago, I was in India, 7,000 people, sitting in silence and meditation. And I just like, if I had a meter to measure how much energy just, dialed up, I'm telling you, any measurement equipment would have just like, you know, uh, the capacity would have been just totally, it was through the roof. But again, the monkey mind keeps coming back. So daily practice, weekly group practice, and then maybe monthly or quarterly in-person group. That's how I think you can build it up. But, closing your eyes for 15 minutes can transform your life. I mean, if you don't believe it, I mean, I have so many stories. I have so many books Guru Maharaj wrote himself. I can go on and on and on. But it's better to take questions or online if there is anyone who wants to share anything, comments, put it in the chat, or unmute and ask in here as well. Everybody hesitates, but questions are always there, because if we didn't have questions, we would be, all the way up there, right? Then we would be at nirvana. Then there are no questions. And basically, what I think is that meditation itself solves lots of our questions, because every time you uplift yourself, you find solutions which were not there. You find knowledge which was not there before. You find, this love, light, and peace has there is a normal definition, and then there is a spiritual definition. Unconditional love and selfless love, I think maybe some mothers might have that instinct, but everybody else has kind of forgotten. Connecting to that human element, until and unless you're way up there, how would you love everybody? So you would think like, people are, I mean, pardon my French, it's like, are stupid who, just share everything with everyone. I have seen people who do that. And it's the other way around. When I read some stuff and when I thought about it and researched it, light comes first before that selfless. And so what is light? So because there is light here, we can see. So think about it was darkness. That'll be total ignorance because we don't see anything. We don't, so light is literally knowledge. Light is, where we see things, clarity. So clarity at a certain level. So what happens is when you uplift yourself, there is a time when the light bulb turns on from the inside. What happens then? Then you realize that everybody around you is in some way, shape, or form connected with you in a more integral way than you ever thought. Then what happens? You connect with nature, with animals, with the entire consciousness in a way that you never connected before. And that's when you love selflessly and unconditionally, because you are part of it. You're not outside of it. So yesterday I was having a conversation and I said, this journey from a very materialistic to a very spiritual, if I was to describe it in a way, I could say there's an ocean and there are some bubbles on top of the ocean, right? So we are the bubbles. Bubbles are finite. They have a temporary existence, but the ocean is where they belong. So if we think about we are the bubbles of consciousness and we become the ocean of consciousness. So till we think that we are the bubble, we are at the lower end. When we describe ourselves as the ocean, then we are up there. So the journey from the bubble to the definition of the ocean, or to experience the ocean, that I am the ocean, not the bubble. That is the spiritual journey. That is the journey towards the ocean of peace. So if I write a book, I don't know if it'll ever come, but it will be the ocean of peace. So how, you become part of that ocean of peace. You are peace in itself. You are the light in itself. You are the love embodiment. You actually are. All you have to do is just realize, and that's called self-realization. That's it. So on that note, any thoughts, questions? Yeah.
15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, we have to meditate. Wherein what happens, and when it starts from your basic needs that you need to fulfill your needs or day-to-day life, and it goes up to what you just now said, it's self-actualization. And wherein there are many things which comes like just like a heartbeat goes ups and downs. So we cannot fix up the timings like either in the morning or in the evening. There's no fixed timings fixed. Sometimes when we are sitting, we are thinking about something altogether something else, or there are many other things, either our physical body is not allowing us or our mental peace is not allowing us to do the same. But how to basic question is how to be consistent into it, how to be how to make ourselves to be consistent into it.
So how to stay connected in the turmoils that we live in, and how to practice in a consistent way. So actually, because Guru Maharaj kind of packaged it for the quote unquote normal people, So he did not prescribe a specific time. See, a lot of religions and ideologies or practices have like, some have like 5 times in a day, right? Now, so he said twice a day is most optimal, but he did not prescribe a time. So he said like, so actually, maybe I should take that segue now. So he said there are 4 times that you can connect or practice this in a lighter way. So one is your sleep. So before sleep, just think that you are, surrounded by this energy and this light, which is uplifting, which is positive, because most of the time we have those negative thoughts. So just transform your sleep first, right? Wouldn't take much. You have to sleep, right? If you don't sleep 2 days, you will know what's happening, right? So you have to sleep. For a better sleep, make it a meditative sleep. So this is a higher dose we took. That will be a lighter one, but because it lighter goes longer, so you convert your sleep into a meditative sleep. It's a very simple thought that you're just, surrounded by this energy. You are connected. You're uplifting, positive, great words, right? So just think that you're embodying that. Second is food. And I can talk all day long how bad we are with it, including me, because these days, I think we have forgotten what gives us uplifting, positive thoughts from a food perspective. So your intake of food has a direct impact on how you think, right? So if you can eat lighter, and there's plenty on the internet and they're very confusing stuff too. So keep it simple, but idea is that it should help your well-being, not just physical well-being, but your mental well-being and spiritual well-being. So anything you practice and you feel this is not helping me, think about that, right? So rich food, too much food, etc., can take you one way, and lighter food, healthier food will take you another way. But where I'm going is Guru Maharaj said, you can convert your food into an intake of positive transcendental energy. How do you do that? Think about your food as that. So when you intake, you're intaking this transcendental positive energy. And transcendental, I say it lightly, but I don't take it lightly. I mean something that transcends the world, transcends the religions, transcends any ideology, transcends the things that we are caught up in. This is a completely, liberating term, universal, and, a term that connects us all, right? So think about your food is nothing but absolutely, healthy, positive, and uplifting energy that will give you, so you have to eat, just do that, right? So sleep, food, right? Then if you do anything for your well-being in terms of walking, in terms of, some, whatever, yoga, Pilates, or, so during that time, also think about that, it's all feeding into your, positive energy, right? So Guru Maharaj used to walk, I don't know, 2-3 miles a day. And he used to walk with his guru, conversing with him. And when he used to get inspired through that conversation, he used to come and write the books, hundreds of books he has written. I don't know how. My first one hasn't come out. So, so you can convert your, time which you're spending on your well-being into time when you're also acquiring this energy. And then when you don't have anything else to do this, right? So, because I'm waiting for my doctor, right? And what am I doing? Yeah, so you could be doing something else, right? So it is satsang. So being with the transcendental energy, which we unfortunately don't do, and hence we are where we are. Right? So, all right. I don't know if you asked that question, but other part of the question is that, what time you choose your time. If you can't do it twice, do it once. If you can't do it once, then do it once a week at least. Try to be in for me, my lifeline was group sessions. You go sit there, you are a captive audience, you can't get up and go. I mean, you can, but you won't, right? So what? You are caught up, effortless progress happens in group sessions, right? What else? Yeah.
Take before it gets easier? Or do you ever get to that place where you sit, sorry, where you sit for like 20 minutes and your thoughts are just about light and energy and you don't think about anything else, and then you open your eyes and you're like, oh, an hour passed, how great. Like, how long does it take to get to that level?
So many ways I can describe this. So number one, we are all creatures of habit. Habit formation takes at least 3 weeks. So if you were that person who was to get into something, you will do it for a couple of weeks, and then it gets easier. Because so another thing that works to help, if you choose a place and time, right? So what happens because of habit, you go there, you'll feel calm already. So if you had a corner or a room or something where you go and sit every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm kidding. That time and that place, you will, I mean, literally, I go to certain temples and churches and, monasteries, and as soon as I enter, I feel I'm in a great place. That vibe has come from somebody's meditation or somebody's, being at a higher state for a long time there. So you can convert your room, your place, to be such a positive, like retreat, just by doing that. So choose a place, choose a time, and you go there, do it. After a few weeks, I'm telling you, you'll feel so different. It'll be like, this place has transformed, or I have transformed. You wouldn't know the difference.
Does it make a difference if you do different type of meditation?
Mm-hmm.
So should you stick to one, or should you just explore all around?
So the thing is this, there is so much difference amongst people. Personalities are different. So because personalities are different, their style to go higher is different. Because different people do things differently. However, the path you take or the method that you take, you can take a cycle to school, you can drive to school, you can even take maybe a helicopter to school, right? What that means is that there are ways that are very slow, some are medium, and some are very fast.
So which one is the fastest?
So the one we did.
Okay. Happy
So,
with that.
I mean, there is a book which, in one of the chapters, he talks about this particular way that we just did is actually, there is a book called Imitation of Christ.
Okay.
Confucius mentioned there are 3 ways to get wise. One is through experience, which is the most bitter, he says. Another one is through imitation, which he says is the simplest. And then it's through reflection, which he says is the most noble. Right? So 3 ways to get wise, right? 3 methods. Experience is trial and error, and I will read this and I'll do this and I'll, wastage of time. Right? Reflection is like I'm so pure at heart and clean in my head that I can work through this. Right? So contemplative meditations are for people who are so clean and pure and higher already. So what's the easiest? I find someone who is sitting up there and sit with him, boom. So, but think about it. What we just did is we imbibed positive energy. And I don't know how it works, but let's say all of us were at, let's say even one of us was at a very higher ground. The chances that we all got uplifted because of that are pretty high. So if somebody was really up there and you just, imitated that approach, so what happens in the corporate? A consultant comes in, you were struggling, the guy comes in and done. Knowledge transfer out the door. Right? I mean, consultants, governments do it, corporates do it. We go, I mean, on the way in here, I was thinking for becoming a doctor, can I just read books and become a doctor?
No.
Can I become a lawyer that way? So then how can I go up there without somebody actually guiding and teaching me and certifying me? So there were such processes, but what happened was, like how much it costs these days to become a doctor, then you lose like faith in the system, right? It's like 10 years and more, and every year I'm paying and paying and paying. It's like, when will I get some return here, right? So the same thing happened to this. The people who were sitting up there said like, okay, I need to cash in. That kind of muddled the waters, but it still exists. See, anybody and everybody who uplifts themselves up there. So what happens is like, there might be, let's say we're sitting in a factory that makes candles. There might be thousands of candles, there might be more and more and more and more, but one candle gets lighted. Till then, everything is like, there are candles, but there is no candle which has light. But once a candle is lighted, that candle can light many candles. So the thing is, there is a process to all this. we just need to sometimes figure it out, you know. So yeah, but answer to your thing is, you know, it's like there are differences in methods. Certain things are for a short sprint versus a long marathon, right? Some are slow, some are, you know, some maybe even like they only take you up here, right? So it's, see, what happens is this. If you think about the differences in religions, is that everybody who got to a certain place a certain way, they said like, go this way, right? Then they said, go this way. Then they say, fly that way, right? Those became religions. But actually, everybody wants everyone to go to the higher level and be a good person, a better person, a real person who is humane. See, humans should be humane. But what happened? Because where we ought to be, we're not. That's all. So it doesn't take much. It does not. I mean, you need to, like, even if you think about others, there are conferences, there are, you know, to bring people together, bring the support system. So you ought to have a good system. You have to have a support system. You have to do your research and your work yourself. Voila. It's not hard. So time to wrap up. Anything online? Oh. Well. So Eddie, any wrap-up thoughts here?
Just repeat a couple of things that you said, just sort of summarize. You talked about the states of consciousness. You talked about the ocean, and that's our highest state of consciousness, where we experience peace, light, and love. And then there's our lower state of consciousness, which is the body, and so that's formed consciousness. And there, in that state, we suffer. And our soul, as we mentioned earlier in the introduction, longs to be at that higher state of consciousness where we experience peace, love, and joy. And that's when that is achieved, that's called yoga. And so Sanjeev has taught us this method whereby we can achieve this state of yoga, and it's called Ramashram Satsang, and that's what we practice today. And it takes us through all the levels. It's a single method. We don't have to learn any other method, and just by practicing it, we will get there. And then the other aspect there of this practice is when we practice together, our progress is expedited. Our progress is not only expedited, but our experiences here in Satsang is more meaningful. I guess we have a better experience. When we experience that sense of peace, it's easier to do that when we're in a group. And once you experience that sense of peace and joy, you know that this method really works, and you sort of it encourages you, and you want to do it more and more. So because of that, I encourage everyone to participate in any satsang, group satsang, whether it's in person or online, as often as much as you can. And thanks to Sanjeev for always being available to make that possible for us and traveling throughout the world to make it accessible to everyone in the world who's seeking to find peace and joy and happiness. So that's kind of all I wanted to say, Sanjeev. Just again, to you, thank you for sharing this method with the world.
And so happy Saturday, and hope to see you all soon, virtually or otherwise. And so love, light, and peace be with you. Take care. Wrapping up from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care.
Namaste, yeah, bye everyone.
Namaskar.